It is very annoying that every time I want to make a video, I have to put the jackets on my books, because otherwise people are going to judge me for being dirty, because these book covers are so dirty. That's why I take the jacket off, so you would never know. Except for this one, because it spilled tea on it. Anyways, moving on. Hi friends, I'm just Sandy. Welcome back to my channel. I would like to apologize in advance if you hear sounds in the background, but my bedroom literally looks out into a park, and now that it's like summery and warm out, the people are out and there's literally no quiet time to film. There's always people like laughing, barbecuing, screaming, playing music, dogs barking. So if you hear something, just pretend you don't. Today I thought I would do something that I see often but have not yet done, mostly because I'm a mood reader, so I should probably tell you what we're doing. Today we will be talking about my June TBR. So what I was saying though is that I'm a huge mood reader, and I'm not good at sticking to a TBR. So for example, I do sometimes do buddy reads with my friend Jeannie, and I'm really bad at sticking to like our page like benchmarks that we set, and that's usually because I usually say like, yeah, let's start this book on Monday, and then Monday comes and I'm not in the mood to read that book, but I already promised. So that sometimes goes well, sometimes it doesn't. Like with A Court of Thorns and Roses, I had been wanting to read those books. I had them on my shelf for like over a year and never read them, so doing the buddy read really helped me because I finally got through them. And I am a fan, but sometimes it makes it really hard for me to like get through the book because I feel like I'm forcing myself, and then it's not to say that I don't enjoy them, but just not as enjoyable as it probably would have been had I been in the mood. But then again, I probably would have never been in the mood because they sat on my shelf for a year. And I have a lot of books that I've unhauled because they've been on my bookshelf for too long and I no longer was interested in reading them. So keeping that in mind, I have built a June TBR with some books that I've recently acquired and some books that have been on my shelf for a while, and I figure if I don't read them now, I will never read them. And take it all with a grain of salt, because I could be making this video and then at the end of June I could be filming a wrap-up with a completely different set of books. So brace yourself. Shall we begin? First book that I will be tackling in June is Lore by Alexandra Bracken, and I am currently reading this in a reading blog for the week. But the reason that this is my first book is because I started this on the last day of May, so it's definitely going to spill into June. This book is about a girl named Lore, and it's following her like journey through the, I think it's Agon or Argon, I already forgot, one of the two, but let's just say Agon. The Agon is essentially like the Hunger Games for Greek gods. So every 7 years the Greek gods become mortal and they come into the real world, so usually a big city, but this one takes place in New York. And then they are, during a 7-day period, they're mortal. And during that time, usually these houses of Greek heroes hunt the gods. So it's like the Hunger Games with magic and Greek mythology. Very excited to get through this. And it's my buddy read for the month. Another book that I already started in May is Much Ado About You by Samantha Young. My cousin actually gave this to me recently as a gift. She found it at a little free library and thought I would enjoy it. And I did start reading it, but then it was time for my buddy read of Lore, so we had to stop like halfway through. So this is another one that will probably seep in from May to June, and by probably I mean most definitely. And this one is about a girl named Evangeline, or Evie for short, who is unhappy with her life and just books a ticket for a month to a small town in England. And this is a romance, so obviously there's a love story and there's a small little town, and I'm sure there's going to be found family. And as you can probably tell by the name, Much Ado About You, there are a lot of nods to Shakespeare in this book. So if there are, I probably wouldn't get them because I don't read Shakespeare. That's okay. Next, I have volume 4 of SpyxFamily by Tatsuya Endo, I think. Yes. And I won't tell you what number 4 is about, but I will tell you that the series in general is about a spy named Twilight who has a mission that he has to accomplish, like a spy mission. And in order to accomplish this, he has to get a child and get them enrolled into some prestigious school to get close to his target. And so he adopts a little girl, not knowing that she is secretly a telepath. I think that's the word for when you read minds. So she's secretly a telepath, he's secretly a spy, and then he marries a woman who is secretly an assassin, and they all think that they're keeping a secret from each other, except that the little girl's a telepath, so obviously she knows everything. It's really funny. It's really good. This is the second manga series that I've read thus far. The first one being The Promised Neverland, and I have to say, like, I don't even think I'm going to continue The Promised Neverland because these are just so much better. So this is volume 4, and I may or may not acquire volumes 5 through 9. I'm on a book buying ban, so we're gonna try not to do that, but we'll see. And then next week, I'm going on vacation to Costa Rica. So excited. I thought about this very, very deeply. So I wanted to bring a book with me that was long enough, like had enough pages that it would last me basically the entire trip, so that I wouldn't have to bring multiple books. But I also didn't want a book that was a hardback because it would be too heavy for my luggage. And I didn't want a book that would be like a quick or easy read, so that I wouldn't have to take more than one. And drum roll please, I landed on Middlegame by Seanan McGuire. And so another thing that I kind of factored into this decision was like what vibes I wanted. I just realized that this is probably a really creepy vibe, but I was trying to go with either a fantasy or a romance, and also a book that I already physically owned. I feel like fantasy and romance go really well on vacation / at the beach. I don't really like thrillers, mysteries on the beach. It's just not the vibe. I'm trying to escape real life. The point is that I wasn't really in the mood for the fantasy books that I have. I also didn't think that any of them would be like long enough to last me the entire trip, so I settled on fantasy, and Middlegame is the one. My other option was Caraval, but I would definitely finish at least 2 of those. So Middlegame it is. And if you're wondering what this book is about, I will tell you again. Middlegame is about these twins, Roger and Dodger. If I understand or remember correctly, they were made by scientists who essentially created them to be almost godlike. And so I guess like through them, he's trying to achieve that godliness. I'm assuming that Reed, the person who made Roger and Dodger, is villainous or maybe not a good person. I feel like that could be a good conflict. I could be speculating, but I think that's right. The following book is Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pierce. I'm not gonna lie to you, this was a cover buy. I recently went to a huge Barnes & Noble in Jersey that I just happened to stumble upon, and this cover was just too beautiful to pass up, and the gold sprayed edges. I think this book is normally black, so this is the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition, and it's just so gorgeous, so I had to have it. I don't even really know what this book is about, but I'm trying not to accumulate new books on my physical TBR, so that is why I shall be hopefully reading it in June. Stay tuned. Okay, since I will be reading, what's the book called? Since I'm going to be reading Middlegame in Costa Rica immediately upon returning, I would like to read Seasonal Fears. Why did I say that so weird? Seasonal Fears by Seanan McGuire. This is the second book to Middlegame, and I've heard that this one is really not good. So hopefully I will enjoy it. I'm trying not to leave series like unfinished. I've noticed that if I read the series back to back, I tend to finish them. If I don't, then I tend to forget what the first one was about, and then I don't want to read the second one because I don't want to reread the first book. So the second or subsequent books remain on my shelves forever. And yeah, I'm starting to realize that I'm really bad at reading series. So trying to force myself to do them back to back. So when I come back, Seasonal Fears. Don't know what this one is about, but I'm assuming that it also has to do with Roger and Dodger. We'll see. Okay, speaking of finishing series, last month, not this month, not May, but April, I finished Divergent, and did I finish it in May? I don't know. I read Divergent at some point this year, and so I went over to the bookstore and I got Insurgent and Allegiant, which are books 2 and 3 in the series. Yes, I'm aware that I read the paperback and now I have 2 hardcovers, and that's gonna annoy me, but this is what they had at the thrift store and they were $2 each, so that's what we're gonna settle for. Did I also just realize that I have Middlegame in paperback and the second book in that series in hardcover? Yes. We're gonna move on from that. So if you don't know what Divergent is about, it is a dystopian book. I don't know if it's YA. It has to be YA because it's not middle grade and it's definitely not adult. We're gonna go with YA, dystopian novels. And Divergent takes place in a world where war has kind of destroyed society, and so there are certain groups of people who believe that there are certain reasons why things went as poorly as they did. For example, There is one group that believes it's ignorance, and so they think that the way to save the world is through knowledge. There are the people who believe that it was through malice, and so they want to live their life through friendship and being amicable. And so they separated into these groups of people called factions, and the factions live based on like the virtue that they believe that the world needs to be great. And Triss, the main character, is of the age where she can decide whether she would like to remain in her faction or abandon her family forever and choose a new faction. You know how that goes. Yeah. There is also some subplot of like why can't I think of the word for attempts to overthrow the government? We're just gonna leave this summary at that because clearly my brain is not working. These are books 2 and 3, and hopefully I can finish the series this month so that I don't have another unread series. I'm a little hesitant about this one because I feel like I really loved Divergent for like what was going on in that story and the direction that it was headed in at the end of the book, which will obviously feed into Insurgent. I don't know if I was feeling that, and so even though I gave that book 5 stars, I'm not too hopeful, but let's go in with positive vibes, right? Another book that is bleeding in from May is Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. I started this book and I just wasn't having a good time, you know? I don't know if it was like I don't think the book was bad, and I'm interested to find out what happens, but I just wasn't feeling like the actual journey of finding out what was happening. This was supposed to be supposed to be a buddy read, and my friend was so into the book that she just flew through it and accidentally finished without me. And I was 100 pages in, and I was just like, well, she already finished, so I'm just gonna put the book down, and never finished it. But I hear lots of great things about this. I really want to know what happens to the characters, and so I'm hoping to pick this up at some point throughout this month. And then the last physical book that I have on me right now is How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. And I picked this book solely because of the vibes. I feel like it's June, we're going into summer. Grady Hendrix does a really great job at like the campy, scary but funny, like summery vibes. I feel like campy stories are great for the summer. Like, I really wish that I could reread My Best Friend's Exorcism for the first time, because that would be a great book for the mood that I'm in for June. And How to Sell a Haunted House is about 2 siblings who inherit the home of their parents who have been deceased, and it's haunted. Yeah. And I hear really like mixed reviews about this. Apparently there are some squirrels and a puppet. It's really concerning. I'm really excited to read this. And I thought I had something else to say about this book, but I guess I don't, because my brain decided to hit the delete button. And I've been reading like 10 books per month. My reading goal for the year is 120 books, so in order to make that, I have to read 10 books every month. And so I have 2 more books on this list. Was that 10? Oh, I already gave you 10, so with these it'll be 12. We're just gonna be ambitious and put it on the list. I have 2 book of the month books, and I'm trying not to accumulate so many, not only physical books, but also like my book of the month books. you don't know, Book of the Month is a monthly subscription service. You should check them out. They strive to support new authors, and they're really great. I love them. Back to the show. My first Book of the Month pick for this month is called She Started It. I can't remember the author, but I'll put it here. I haven't gotten my Book of the Month books yet because it's still May, and these are my June picks. But She Started It is about 4 best friends who are kind of estranged. Like, they just don't like really talk as much. They've kind of like fallen off with their friendship. But then one of them invites them over to a tropical island for her bachelorette party, I think it is, and she's like very well off now and has done really well for herself, and so obviously they come out of curiosity, and some things are just not right. And as I say with probably every thriller, people must start dying, right? Like, it's a thriller. What other mystery will there be? So that's She Started It. And then my second Book of the Month pick, I got 2 because had leftover credits from skipping previous months, and then I had a free credit for my birthday month, so I used my free credit to get what I'm probably gonna pronounce wrong, and it's Clytemnestra. I'll put it up here. I completely forgot what this book is already about, but it seems like it's a Greek retelling, which is kind of the vibe that I was feeling when I ordered the book, because I picked up lore and that one's a Greek retelling. So yeah, I am really excited. I hope I can get to all of these books. I also really wanted to dedicate a week that I'm not reading any of these books, because I really want to have someone in my life pick my TBR for the week, and so I'd really love to take her to Barnes & Noble and have her pick out like 2 or 3 books for me to read throughout the week. And so I don't know what those books will be, but they're on the TBR, and hopefully we make it happen, because I feel like that would be very exciting and fun. And with that, those are the 12 to 15 books I'm hoping to read in June. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you found some inspiration. Tell me down below what you're reading in June. Are you planning on reading any of these books? Have you read any of these books already? And if you made it this far, leave a, what do you call those trees? A palm tree. Leave a palm tree emoji, because I'm way too hyped to go on vacation this week. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button, and I will see you when I see you next. Bye.